the topic of the discussion is going to be why we are choosing a Class B van.
Tony Scott, other than minimizing, what is the main reason for downsizing? Was it to gain access to more parks with restrictions on length?
Well, let's see. The main reason is we really love going a lot of different places. We love to be able to get into smaller areas. The problem is you can't do that with a bigger Class A, even a Class A with our size of 29 feet. I think a big thing for us is there are a lot of issues with trying to drive a Class A around. It's big, it uses a lot of gas, you have to find parking for it and everything else. Well, we started realizing that with the slides out and everything, there was a lot more room than we were using. There are cupboards we don't use, there are drawers we don't use. Most of the time we don't use the dinette, and Kate and I are just sitting up front, working, talking to each other, having a cup of coffee. And the only time we use the bedroom is to go to sleep or, watch TV. So we realized we don't need that much room. And I think that was the real driving factor. And our thing was, if we don't need something this big, why are we trying to deal with it and, just move down?
Yeah. And the other thing is, the thing we love about a camper van is the ability to just pack up and go. And only have one vehicle. And that would be really ideal for us. Right now we have 2 vehicles to worry about, gas bill for 2 vehicles, insurance for 2 vehicles. It would be really nice to just have one vehicle, possibly tow a little trailer if we need the storage space. But it's really appealing to just have a little camper van, break camp, and go. And not have to worry about slides and putting everything back in.
Yeah.
I see Todd is on, and he asked on Patreon if we're considering gas or diesel. Do we want slides? What about solar?
Okay. So, all right, Todd. Let's see, what was the first one?
Gas or diesel?
We are considering both. So the gas we're looking at would be on the Dodge ProMaster chassis. It actually has the same engine that the Jeep has. We're familiar with it. We've driven it. We like it. There is the Mercedes diesel. We're looking at a few options on that chassis, as well as the Ford diesel. The problem we've read with the Mercedes diesel is you're limited to a 5% biodiesel blend, and there are a lot of places in the country that only sell above 5%. I think it's like 10 to 20% biodiesel blend. This can void your warranty if you have any problems with your engine. That's something we're thinking about and concerned about. But I think the other thing is there are some benefits to the smaller diesel, but they're not as big as if you go from a gas Class A to a diesel Class A. That Dodge ProMaster van is really nice. The engine is very serviceable. It's proven itself, and I think it's a strong contender for us.
Todd also asked about slides.
We would prefer to stay away from slides. So when I said B earlier, someone mentioned that Leisure Travel is no longer making Bs. We're looking at kind of the B pluses that are on the Sprinter chassis with the cab over and everything else, like the Winnebago View, all the Unity, the other Leisure Travel vans. And those are a consideration. The issue is once you start getting slides and things like that, the weight of the vehicle grows substantially. And there isn't very much carrying capacity in these to begin with, so it's something we really have to think about.
Todd also asked, do front seats turn to be part of the living room? Is that something we're considering when we're shopping?
So I think that's a big thing for us. Is the reason we like the Class Bs is you can maximize the amount of room in there. And if you can turn those seats, that's a great benefit. A lot of people have suggested pleasure way. And the issue we had with some of the pleasure ways was the driver's seat couldn't be turned around, or if it could, you were facing a wall. And that wall was usually a bathroom or refrigerator or something like that. So that's one thing that kind of turned us. We didn't like about those floor plans. So the main living room in those was more in the back. Let's see. Thank you so much this is Karen Allen. Thank you so much for your video about the Sportsmobile. It opened my eyes to go that route. What are your thoughts about them at this point? I think they are a very well manufactured van. The company themselves, we've been able to spend some time with them. They are awesome. Their customers seem to love them, and I think a big thing for us is not only the fact that they let us bring cameras in there to show you guys what it looks like, but we found that they have a lot of repeat customers. So people are buying from them and they're coming back and buying multiple vans.
Yeah. And the thing that, as much as we love the Sportsmobile, and we did see some floor plans that would work really well for full timing, there is a 1 year wait time to get one. So I don't think we want to wait a year at this point to downsize. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
We're also going down the same Class B route. Have you considered building a conversion van yourself?
We've thought about it, and when we were at the LA Auto Show, we looked at the different vans. The Ford Transit van, the larger one, is huge inside. But I think there's a lot of thought, engineering, and work that has to go in to make it so that it's a nice, livable area, that your plumbing is done correctly, the wiring and everything else. And that's going to take a lot of time. And again, I don't think that's on the horizon for us right now, although it is something we've considered.
Let's see. A Class A plus Jeep to a Class B is a big jump. Why not a small Class C with better cargo carrying capacity?
We've seen some of the small Class Cs, and when people say small Class C, they start getting into like the 25, 26 foot range, which is a lot bigger than what we're thinking of. 24 right now is the max for us. And there are some Class Cs out there that are 24 feet long, but once you go inside, since the whole front engine cab area, you kind of lose that space, there isn't much room in the back. And it's still fairly large. So, you know, for us, we want to go small, and we want the Class B to be our only vehicle. I think that's a big thing for us. Let's see.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Todd also asked, what are our top criteria for shopping when we're looking at a Class B? And I think the first thing that comes to mind is a comfortable place for us to work, since we do work full time, and also a comfortable place to sleep, and a decent kitchen where we can make all of our meals at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the other is quality. So when we go in, we like to sit in it. Well, quality and livability. So we'll go sit in the RV and just hang out in it for a while. If we have Leo, we'll bring him in and see, you know, what it's like moving around, what it's like laying on the bed, sitting there. Is it a comfortable place to work? And it's really a whole thought process that goes into it.
Mm-hmm. A few people have asked about composting toilets.
Okay, so composting toilets. A lot of you already know we tried to do the bucket toilet, which failed miserably in our current RV. We were looking at the Naturehead toilet. The thing was, in order for us to have the exhaust fan and all the wiring run, we were going to have to drill a hole through the wall of our RV, and it's not something we were prepared to do. It might be easier on a Class B, but that toilet is fairly large. Plus, we don't mind dumping either the black tank, or if it has a cassette toilet, something like that. It's fairly easy and quick. And if you have a composting toilet, then you need to worry about bringing all the compost material with you. What happens when they go wrong? And they do go wrong. We know plenty of people that have them, and they've had a lot of problems with them.
And you have to take into consideration humidity. That will change how things are composting. There's a lot that goes into it. And yeah, we've heard some horror stories. So we might stick with the black tank or a cassette toilet. Solar. Are we considering solar for a camper van?
Yes. So the big thing we're considering right now is a unit that allows us to put enough solar on the roof that we can charge the batteries, and we're looking at units that have lithium-ion batteries that have enough capacity that can run the AC. The reason this is important is it's going to be our only vehicle, and if we go into town, if it's in the middle of summer and we want to go do something but Leo can't come with us, we're going to need to run the AC for him while the van is parked. It's something we're seriously considering. If we're not able to get an RV that has those features, we're going to have to look at putting something in there to keep Leo, comfortable.
Jeff asks, would holding tank size limit your length of boondocking stays? Depends on what we're boondocking.
Yeah.
If we're out in national forest, They do have guidelines for you to follow if you want to use the restroom outside. But yes, it would definitely limit how long we can stay. But the nice thing about a camper van is, to me at least, it seems that it would be a lot easier to break camp driving to town. We're going to have to drive into town anyway because we're uploading videos all the time on YouTube, and all of our favorite boondocking places do not have adequate internet for us to upload videos. So we're going to have to go into town every few days anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the holding tank will limit us too much.
Yeah.
Is it possible to rent one prior to purchasing so you can really test it out? Try it before you buy it.
We've thought about it, but I think we're just going to go for it. We know we want to go smaller, and we went through the whole rigmarole of, we're going to rent a Class A before we sell our house and move into it and everything else, and we didn't do it.
No, we didn't. We went for it, and it worked out really well, and now we're realizing we can live in a much smaller space and have access to so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Actually, I'm going to grab a question. A few people have asked about whether we would get something with a second alternator or a generator. I personally would prefer something with a second alternator. A lot of the smaller RVs don't have generators. If they do, it takes up room and it runs on LP. And the LP tanks are small to begin with, or you have to bring your own generator along. I would rather have something where we can turn the engine on, or the engine turns on by itself and charges the battery. Plus, from what we've seen, the capacity of those alternators is actually a lot greater than the capacity of the generators. So, if we had to pick, alternator.
Class B versus truck camper.
I think, so we really liked some truck campers we've seen. I think it comes down to, again, where we can get in, but also having two separate units. The truck camper, obviously, and then we have to go out and buy another truck. I think at this point we'd like to keep everything as one piece. The other thing is Leo is starting to get older, and it's getting a little difficult for him. He's starting to get tentative of climbing, the 5 or 6 stairs into our Class A. Truck camper is going to be even higher and more difficult to get into. And we really like the Class B vans because they're not tall, and it's usually only a step or two into the van. So it's going to make it a lot easier on him and his legs.
Some people were asking about warranty. Is that something we're taking into consideration when we're shopping?
Yes. I think warranty says a lot about the company and the product they produce. The Class B vans in general, from what we've seen, tend to have better warranties. What was Leisure Travels? Do you remember?
Leisure Travel van?
Was that 2 years?
Yes.
I believe it was 2 years. Don't quote me on that. Road Trek and Heimer is 6 years, and I haven't seen another company that can match that. But then you get into some of the other companies like Winnebago and some of those, and it's only a 1-year warranty. With our Class A, we had a 1-year warranty on our Newmar. Luckily for us, everything has been great. We really haven't had any problems with it. But it's a little concerning when you're buying something like that. You're spending all that money and you only have a 1-year warranty. And we really have to ask ourselves, does the company really stand behind the product, with a 1-year warranty as compared to a company that will offer a 5 or 6 year warranty? Mm-hmm. Sportsmobile is a 5-year warranty. Yeah. Which, again, that says a lot too.
Yes. Okay. Angelica and Todd both asked, do we want a convection oven or a microwave? And I personally, so our current Class A, we opted out of the oven, but we do have a microwave convection oven combination. For the camper van, if we have the option, we would like to get rid of the microwave or a convection oven and turn that into extra storage. In the year and going on a year and a half that we've been living out of our Class A, we haven't used the microwave. No. Maybe once. That's the only time.
A couple times to defrost stuff.
Right. Yeah. But the only time I can remember using it was to make the frittata video.
Oh, yeah.
And that was about it. Everything we do is on our gas stove. So much
well,
rather
Instant Pot now.
Well, yeah. Thank you to Deb and Venice for the Instant Pot. That's definitely coming with us in the camper van. Yeah, I'm making room for that. It might be 15 pounds, but it's totally worth it. Kid asked, what about the Paseo? that Winnebago came out with?
Oh, yeah, we looked at the Paseo when we were at the Pomona show, but the issue we have there is the living space on the Paseo is all in the back. They have that convertible couch thingy that was going on. And in the front seat, the passenger seat will flip around, but the driver's seat can't because they build the cabinets all the way up to the seat. And it feels very disjointed. So one person would be sitting in the front, the other people would be sitting in the back, or we'd both be sitting in the back. We like the ones where you have the kind of dining, living area all up front and everything is together. And in the back is more for storage and sleeping, or maybe just laying down and watching TV.
What about off-roading 4x4 availability? It's something, Melissa says it's something she's been considering for a Class B.
We've been thinking about it. Once you get into really having something that can go off-road, like a sportsmobile, the price of it is going to start going up. And it's something to really consider. We like it. We just don't know how much off-roading we would do with a Class B. I think if we were going to off-road, what we might look at is getting a well-set-up pickup with a truck camper, going out somewhere, dropping the truck camper, and then taking the pickup and going and exploring areas, and maybe even tent camping for a night or two.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how feasible that really is in a Class B van. I definitely know the sportsmobiles. We've seen pictures. You can do some serious stuff with those, but you're also going to be spending about 140, 150,000, if not more.
Yeah. Rowdy says, are you worried you might be going too small?
There are times when we have discussions because we're looking through all the stuff we have. I mean, we've moved almost completely out of our Class A now, and we look at all the stuff we moved out, and we're going to probably be able to take, like a quarter of that?
Probably.
And this one keeps complaining every day that I haven't gotten rid of my Xbox yet.
Hey.
So there are some concerns, but I think there's also a lot of things we're excited about. But it's really no different from when we were moving from our house into a 29-foot Class A RV, and we were like, oh my God, this is so small. And now it's like, oh my God, it's so big.
Are you looking for cold weather RVing?
We're looking at some that have cold weather options. It's not something we're specifically looking for because Kate hates the cold. Leo loves it. I think if we went up to the cold, we might drive up into the area, spend a day in the snow or something, leave the furnace on, and then come back down. We don't plan to do any cold weather camping.
No, I'm not made for cold weather. I do enjoy going to the snow for the day, but I like my Southern California temperatures.
Leo and I will romp around in the snow while Kate sits by the fire with her hot chocolate.
There we go. Are you planning on traveling abroad in the near future? Does this factor into what you choose so that you can ship it over there?
Yes. I don't know about the near future. A big reason for us wanting the Class B van is because we want to see how well we can live in it. Spend at least a year or two in it, and we're considering going over to Europe and either shipping the van over or leaving the van here, going to Europe, renting or buying a van there, and spending however long we can going through Europe. Or
have you researched shipping costs? I would love to know. We haven't researched shipping costs for camper vans.
Well,
but we have a general sense of.
Yeah, so I did some research on people that go around the world and they ship their RV around. The cost, it depends on the country you're going to. If you're trying to go into Japan or something like that, you are going to pay a ton of money to do it. If you go to Europe, it depends on which country you come into. So France and Germany are going to be two completely different prices. The biggest problem you're going to have is different countries around the world have different regulations regarding turn signals and mirrors and things like that. So you have to make sure you get a vehicle or you convert the vehicle to a certain point that it is good to travel to all the countries you're going to.
Todd is asking, are we considering a separate shower in our camper van? So most of the camper vans we're looking at have a wet bath, and that's fine. What we're planning on doing, which a lot of our friends that we've talked to who full-time in a camper van do, is get a gym membership. Planet Fitness is a popular one where if you get a membership for the whole country, you can visit every Planet Fitness, and they have Well, first of all, we can go work out, which we really need to do.
After Thanksgiving, I need it badly.
And second, we can use their facilities, and it would be a nice way to get out. And currently, even in our Class A, if we're camped at an RV park or resort, we tend to use the bathhouses there if they're really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked, I missed the question earlier, is how long do we plan to full-time? And I think we would like to go for as long as we possibly can, and while we're still enjoying it. I can't imagine hanging up full-time RVing to settle down. That does not appeal to me at all right now.
No.
Let's see. Someone asked, and I think this is an interesting question. The Bayou Breeze says, in your search, did you see any RVs with wide doors instead of the average narrow ones? And the place that comes to mind for me is the Show Hauler Factory. So they do all custom motorhomes, and they have different door sizes that they can build in specifically for your needs. And when we were at the factory, they were actually working on something for a gentleman who is in a wheelchair. So they ordered an extra wide door that would not only help lift him up, but make sure he can get in comfortably.
Yeah, and all the Class Bs we're looking at have the big sliding door on the side. Those are awesome. And then the great thing is there are the passenger and driver side doors. So we don't have to get up out of the seat, come through the RV to go through the sliding door. I think that's really important when we're getting gas and things like that. And we want to keep Leo in the back and just be able to get in and out quickly.
Noah says you could possibly tow a smart car with a Class B van. We absolutely can. The problem is, where would Leo go? And so we talked about this when we were at the LA Auto Show, is if we want to run an errand or take Leo out, it would have to be Joe and Leo go out, or me and Leo go out. I don't think Leo would sit in my lap.
I think we're going to call it.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun.
This is fun. We're going to have to do more of these. We can only do it when we have either extra data on our phones or we're at like Mama Russo's and we have good Wi-Fi to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I had a blast.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. And